So some things I would like to go over today are adding students in classes, how to add content from your library, the different grade appropriate reference maps and content, historical maps for world and U.S. history, the toolbar, the split screen function, how to create a custom view, save it, and even share it if you like. And we will even view our atlases, charts, and outline map tabs as well. Okay? So we are going to get started here on this home page. I wanted to start on the home page just in case there's anybody who can't remember their login password, and just wanted to point out if you can't remember it or have lost it, please know that you can click on this Let Us Help You button right next to the left of the username. And if you click on this link, you can put in your school or district email address, and it will send you a new password, and it will void out your old password. And once it sends you that temporary password upon logging in, it will ask you to change that again. Okay, so you will be able to customize that password. Okay, so we're at the home page here, and I am going to log in under my teacher account. So we're going to log in now, and we're going to, this is going to pop up once you get started. And it's tutorials and videos of different things, so making selections with your map chooser, the dual map viewer, moving between 3D and 2D maps. So there's a lot of tutorials and videos here that you can look at. But if you don't want, and it's just a reminder, so if you don't want it to show up every time you start up, you can click on this Don't Show Me This Again upon startup and click out of it, and it won't come up again. Okay? Under task here, I want to show you that there are user guides here for all of the content that we're going over today. So please do not feel that you have to remember everything we're going over today. We're going to go over quite a few things, but under this task section of the user guide, there will be step-by-step guides to how to accomplish everything that we go over today. So again, I just want to point out right here under task, there are user guides. So again, please don't feel free. Please don't feel like you have to remember everything, okay? So let's start with adding a class. So under the task section here, also there's a link called Classes and Students, and we want to click on that so that we're able to add a class and add our students, okay? So when this pops up, you'll see your profile here. So under Classes, on this section, you see that we just have a default class, and you can delete that if you like. If you want to add a class, you can name it whatever you'd like. So I'm just going to name this class My Class. Now, if you are a teacher that has multiple classes or multiple subjects, you can call the class U.S. History class, or World History class, or Geography class, or Period 1, Period 2, Period 3. Whatever you'd like to name that class, you can do that. So I'm going to click on Add Class here, and it's going to add that under my classes. So now the class that I want to add students to, I click on that class, and that class is going to open for me. And I see my licenses for that class. So you may have many licenses. You may have a U.S. History Atlas or a World History Atlas or Geography Atlas, and you can edit those licenses for whichever classes you need. So if it's a U.S. History class, you can just assign them specific reference maps. Maybe it's the land cover, political and culturally, and the World History Atlas. Or if it's a U.S. History class, it may just be the U.S. History Atlas. So you can do that by editing the licenses here. But how we want to add a student, we want to go in. Now, I did want to let you know that you cannot do a bulk upload of students as a teacher. Only your administrator, whoever was assigned as your administrator in StrataLogica, can do bulk uploads of students. Now, if you have a dual role as a administrator and a teacher, then you can do a bulk upload. But we don't want, and this is just primarily because we don't want to have a student with multiple accounts. So if you do need to do a bulk upload, please ask the administrator on your account to upload your students. And there is a guide, again, on the Nystrom education.com/learning, in which, and I'll put this website up at the end, so don't worry about it. And so you'll be able to point your administrator to how they can upload students with that training. But if we look here, the ones that are grayed out, the letters that are grayed out have students under them. So if I wanted to add a student from this list, then I can just click those students here, and then I can click select. And then once I do that, it'll add it to my class. Now, if I wanted to add a student that was not on the list, when I click add student, I would go up to this link at the top that says add student not found on this list. And then what I would want to do is I would want to add a student. And you can either do a username or an email address, so it can be either the school email address or you can add a username for each student. Now, each student has to have a unique username, but they can have the same password if you like. And again, I'll repeat that one more time. Each student has to have a unique username. However, they can have the same password, and the password has to be a minimum of 6 characters. So we're going to put her username here. We're going to put a password in for the student. And then graduation year, you want to put that in if you want to monitor the students that leave out of your school at a certain year. You'd be able to delete those very easily if you can see the graduation year. So you'd want to put that in there so that you can have those students come out when they're leaving your school. Okay, so we'll put 2018. We'll click add student. And then now I have my students in my class here. So that's how you add a class, and that's how you add students to the class. And you can edit right here next to my class. You can edit your name of your class at any time if you like to edit that name. Okay, so that's not set in stone. So now we're going to go in and we're going to look at our library. Now, if you have went into StrataLogica and you don't see any of your library there, then you want to go to your library section. And again, this is under tasks, all under tasks. So you see usernames, you see your classes and your students, and you see your library. And these are all under tasks. And also those tutorials and videos that we talked about. If you close out that screen and you don't want it to show again, this is where you would find those tutorials and videos. Okay? So in your map library, if you're not seeing anything, you want to check your map library. You want to go there and you want to see if you have all of your content added. So it'll show here to the right if you already had it added, and the ones that you have not had added, it will have the add button here. So if you go to the intermediate political and I don't have that added, it'll give you a little preview of the map. And then all I would want to do to add it to my map chooser, and we'll talk about what the map chooser is in just a few minutes, we'll add that to our map chooser to be able to access that very easily, okay? If I go to my Atlas library, I want to do the same thing. I want to look at the atlas that I want to add to it. So I'm going to add the World History Atlas and the U.S. History Atlas. Same thing for my chart library. I want to add the Bill of Rights, the Comparing Governments, and again, I can see thumbnails if I click on it first. And I'll click Add. Now, if there are certain ones that you want to take out, so if you were doing government and civics, for instance, and economics, but you're no longer using economics or teaching an economics class, you can click here on the bottom where it says View Chart Chooser Preview. You can go in and you see the drop-down button here. That's where you can toggle between the different series. So if there was a series, if I wanted to go to the U.S. government and civics, and I wanted to remove those, I can remove those here, okay? So I'm going to go back to my chart library. And also, if there is a certain way you want your map chooser set up as far as the way you want it listed. So say if I had history maps in there and world history maps, but I wanted to see them higher up, you can move your series just by dragging and dropping it. If you click on the View Map Chooser, by dragging and dropping it, it shows you the map order here. Okay? So again, all you have to do is grab it, drag it, and drop it, and you can change that map order that you see right here. So my outline map library. So this is exactly what it says it is. It's just outline map. So if you can see, there's world, there's U.S., Canada, Africa. So we have all the continents there. So you can, again, view the thumbnails and add which ones you want. So there are many, many of the outline maps. So you can choose the ones you like. If you like your state outline map in there, you can add that here in this section. Okay, so these are all outline maps. So I want to take the time, just really quickly, I'm going to check the chat bar. And I just want to see, Kira, are you able to see the chat bar?
Yes.
Are there any questions?
No questions, so you can keep going.
Okay, great, great. So let's go directly into our map. So here, when we start out with our map, if we click on this layer right here, this is our map chooser. So this is what we just talked about adding the content to. So here, this is all my content that I added to the map chooser and that you can take out and that you can switch the order up if you like. So if I like 13 colonists to be the first thing that I see, I can, in my library, I can change that. So we want to see the different series. So the first series, this is the Early Learning Readiness Series. So this is like a K1, and it uses colors to really show land and water, because that's really all that they're talking about at that time. So this is K1. Every single map has a legend. So if I click on the legend, and I click on land and water, some of the legends have video, some of them have picture, and some of them just have explanations of what they are. So I can click on this and we can see land and water here for the students. So it's very, very visual, helping them increase the comprehension. So if I go to the next series, which is the readiness series, and I'm going to close that out. As you see, as I get higher in grade, there's more political information that comes on the map. Okay, and as I zoom in, you'll see more political information coming up, as you can see. So this is a readiness map, and this is the second, third grade map. And you see the interactive legend is here too. And you can, everything in this interactive legend, you can click on. So if they want to know what a country is or a city is, it'll tell them what it is. Then it'll ask them at the bottom, now find 3 cities on the map, so they can really understand what it is that they're looking for. The next series is the land cover series, and let's go to the legend, and we'll find out what these colors represent. So it represents tropical rainforest and cropland and desert and glacier and tundra. So that's what it's the cover of the land, you know, after man has affected it. So that's what a land cover map is. And if there's any teachers that are doing science, you may use this map quite often. Then we have the political relief map here. And that shows even more political information, especially as I come over here to Europe. You can see a lot of that more political information that they have on this map. And I keep twisting it because I really kind of want to show that this is a true 3D product that you're seeing here. The sculpture relief series, this uses colors to show elevation, highlands and lowlands, mountains. So if they click on these colors, it'll tell them the elevation and what the elevation is of that area. Okay? So I want to also show the 2D. So all of these maps are also in 2D. So if you're used to that pull-down map, you can click on the 2D and you'll get that pull-down version here in the map. And I'm going to zoom in so that you can see this a little more clear. And it'll start caching in and it'll get clearer the closer you get. So I'm going to look at and point over into this section. And I want to talk about the toolbar. So there's a few tools that you can use on this map. You can use the marker. You can you can pick the different thicknesses and the color that you'd want to use. So I just kind of want to point out this Spain area right now. Or maybe we don't want it that thick, so we click the eraser. You can click erase all if there's only one thing on there, but you want to click on the object if there's multiple things. So maybe I don't want it that thick. And I'll show you this area. You can also do symbols. So there's buildings, current events, land use, numbers, places, shapes, and transportation. And I'll let you look through that, but we may want to put a boat here, or if I click on this orange, the second orange button, I can move it to where I'd like. Or I can turn it with the top one, or I can make it bigger or smaller with any of these arrows to the side. Okay? So that's the symbols tool, so you can look through those. And also the text tool, so I can add text to the map. I'm going to name this Kim's Map. So these are a few of the tools that you can use. If you just wanted to erase one thing and not all, once you click that erase and erase all, bypass clicking on this erase all and just go to whatever you want to erase, and you can click it then. Okay? I also want to show you on here, this is where you would find in the drop-down. Well, actually, before I do that, let me show you on the Political Relief series, the Europe series. Let me go to Europe really quickly. And I'm going to go over to that Spain area that we were just on. I'm going to close this out so we can see this a little better. So if you notice over here in this section, there's more political information. So make sure to check through the different, if there might be on the regions and map, there maybe political information that you would want to see. Check the region map in that case, and maybe it might be more political information. So this is definitely more political information than we just saw on the world map. Okay? So this is also where you are going to want to find your state map. So if I click on my state map, and I'm in the Chicago area, so I'll click on Illinois, this is where you'll see your state map. And you'll see the thematics, and you can zoom in to certain areas, okay? And there's the inland of the Chicago area. So that's where you find your state map. This is where you'll actually find your world history and your U.S. history. I know we haven't gone through that yet, but those different maps are on here. So I'm going to show you some history maps, but these are in 2D as well. And then your outline map. And if you mark on your outline map, and this is where you would find that. So, and I'm sorry, I clicked out of that just a little too quickly, but that's where you would find your outline map, okay? So I want to take a quick pause to see if we have any questions.
So far, so good.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you really quickly about the toolbar and about the custom view. So with the toolbar, it's down at the bottom, we talked about the marker tool, we talked about the symbol tool, we talked about the text tool. Now we get to talk about my favorite tool, which is the push pin. And I'm going to title this Test 1. You can put a description if you want to. And then on styling, you can make the title bigger and change the color if you'd like. And also you can change the color of the pen, push pin, and make it bigger. And then my favorite part, you can also add images and video to these push pins. So you can add video from YouTube, Vimeo, TeacherTube, SchoolTube, and also pictures from Flickr. So this is my absolute favorite feature of the program. All I want to do is, and I can show you quickly, if I go to YouTube and I find a video that I want, so I just pick the Star Spangled Banner, if I go to the share button, so it'll open up like this. If I click on the share button, then it'll be on the share link here first. You would want to click this embed button here. And then once you click on the embed button, you copy it. You right click, copy it and paste, and then you're going to just come in here and you're going to paste it into your video, and it says, into your push pin, it says YouTube content has been added. Then I'm going to click done, and my video is right here. And that is how easy and how simple it is to add a video to, or even a picture to the push pin, into your presentation or to your custom view. So if you're using Flickr, if you add a picture into Flickr, all you would have to do is that it will create an embed code for you. So once underneath that, you'll click share, and you'll grab that embed code, and you'll just paste it in here, and it'll add that picture for you. So that's how easy it is. So I'm going to close that. Also, we're going to look at the settings feature. You can take labels off if you'd like. So if you wanted to do an in-class assessment, for instance, and I want to go to, let's go to numbers here. And I'm going to number a couple of places. So you can use that for assessment, and you can take the labels off. Or if you're doing a custom view and you just feel it's just a little too cluttered with all the labels on, you can take the labels off and you can have a cleaner map there. Also, there's the coordinates feature. And if you notice, once I clicked it at the bottom here, the coordinates are showing. So once I click a certain area on the map, down to the right-hand corner, you see the coordinates moving. So the longitude and latitude. Okay. Also, the label pop-up. I don't have the sound on here, but if I click on any of the areas or some of the areas here, it will pronounce it for me. Okay. So that's the setting bar. So also, I'm going to go over to this side, and I'm going to show you how you can toggle between different maps. So actually, I'm going to stay on this map here. And then I'm going to go to the land cover map, and it's going to ask me, do you want to keep your changes when you proceed? So do you want to keep what you put on there? And I'm going to say yes. If not, you want to say discard my changes and hit continue. So here, I'm going to talk about the ruler tool here. So the ruler, I'm going to click on one end and go to the other of the Sahara Desert. So I'm going to see how far it is. So where I am measuring here, it says that it's 3,308 miles. So this shows miles and kilometers. Now, a student may not understand how big that actually is. So if I go ahead and I go over to the United States, let's say, and let's measure the United States. And now it says that this area that I'm measuring is 2,628 miles. So it's significantly bigger than the whole United States. So now they have a really good mental picture of how big the Sahara Desert is. They have something to compare it to. You can also measure states. You can use it for math concepts and cross-curricular manner. So that's the ruler feature. Also, there is the search feature. And you can either put a name of a place, or you can put in the actual address that you'd like. So if we want to visit the White House, and we click go, that's going to take us to the White House there. So that is how you use the search function. Now to go back, I can click the world, and it'll bring me back out, and I'll see that what I have on the map is still there. And let's say I want to save this map. So what I want to do is I want to go up to the top left-hand corner, and I want to click Save View. And I'm going to title this as Test 2. You can put a description again in there if you want. So let's say, for instance, you're titling a few things, World War II, and you want to have different descriptions because they're different views, then this is where you would want to put the different description of World War II. But if you title it World War II, it'd be easier for you to find it in your gallery. So let's click Save. And then where did it go? So let's click out here on the left. We're going to go under our gallery. So this is where all of our saved work is that we saved. And again, this is just a custom view. So a custom view is one map view, and that is different from a presentation that has multiple map views in a collaborative project. And presentations and collaborative projects are also webinars that we do for StrataLogica. So you can go and look at a past one, or you can look at you can view one that we have in the future. So you see right here where it says Test 2. This is where our custom view that we just did is located. And whenever we save something, it's always going to go to the top of our list. And you can filter by type, by presentations and projects. So you can just filter your custom views here. You can also use the search function to find something if you have just so much in your gallery. So you can click on that. You can delete it down here at the bottom in the right-hand corner if you'd like. You can edit it, the name, or you can open it. So we're going to open it, and there is our custom view that we just had. Now, we also have the opportunity to share this. So if I go under Action and I click on Send View, that'll load up. Now, it's saying that there are no users in this group. That's because that's my default class, and I haven't added anybody to my default class. I'm actually can delete that. I see my class. I can either send it to the students one by one by the single arrow, or if there's one that I wanted to put back, I can arrow them over. Or I can arrow them all over if I want to do the whole class. Okay? If I want to send this to my colleagues, because you can send this to your colleagues, and there's another teacher you want to see what you think they can use that in their class as well, you can send that to them as well. So this, I'm going to send it over to Hillary D, and I'm going to send it to Paul M and Nick P. And I'm going to share that. So I'm going to click Send. And again, this is under the Action button. Okay? So I also can go and I can click who it hasn't been sent to. So if I click who it hasn't been sent to, I can see that I've sent it to Hillary and Paul and Nick that I've sent this to, and the date and what time is timestamped. So if you are wondering, hey, did I send that over to them? That's the button you would click to see who you shared with to confirm that. Okay, I think now is a good time that we can pause and see if there's any questions. Okay, I don't see any
questions in the chat box. So we'll check again in a little bit, but I'll keep going.
Okay, great. So we'll continue. We'll move on. We'll look at, now we'll go to historical maps. So here underneath your map chooser again, if you're doing U.S. history or world history, and I'm just going to show a couple, or if you have Texas, your Texas history in there, you'll see that in this map view here. So let's go to the Silk Road. Under the Silk Road, now this is just capturing that era in time. So it's a historical map. So every other place besides that is grayed out here. It's just capturing that area and that era in time. So you can still add content to this if you like to. You just can't take anything off. So I can look at the call-outs and see where they start. You start with number 1, go 2, 3. Some of them have pictures, and it talks about how Asian Africa dominates the Silk Road. So there's content in these maps. Again, you can see it in the 2D version that I showed you earlier, and you can add to this map. Then let's look at the 13 colonies for U.S. history. So it's just capturing that time. And I wanted to show you that you can toggle between maps here. So I'm going to click on a color, and I'm going to try to do this really quickly, and it's not going to be perfect. And I'm going to actually do it a little bit thicker so we can see. I'm going to do this a little thicker. I'm going to trace the boundary. And again, this is not going to be perfect. I'm just trying to rush through it really quickly so I can give you an idea. Okay, so I can also go and I can toggle between different maps. So this is my 13 colonies map. I can go to my political relief series, and it's asking me, do you want to keep the changes? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to show them on my next map. And here is the political, so everything is one color. So if we notice here at the top, we're under world. Let's click on the United States here so we can see the United States. And it's going to ask me again, do I want to keep show it on the next map? And I'm going to click continue. And then now I can see it in a more political way. So now I can see the boundaries of each state. And now you can have a discussion about fall line settlements and why the outline of the states are different from how they used to be. So here too on the United States section, you can just do the 50 states, the 48 connected states, Hawaii and Alaska, and there's schematics on there too. So I did want to show you that you can toggle between historical maps and reference maps, and you can keep your content on them. Okay? So since shortly we didn't have any questions, I'm going to just move into the Atlas section of the program. And this time I'm just going to say discard my changes because I don't want to keep them. So we're going to look at the Atlas section now. So here we see our atlases, and here we see our map chooser. And this is again what we were adding to our map chooser. So we have one for our atlases as well. So we have our kindergarten jumbo atlas in here, that's new. We have our first grade atlas. And I want to show you here, there's different ways that you can change the pages on the atlas. So you can arrow over, and we can always zoom in, and we can look at the content. If you know the page number, you can put it in here at the top. So we'll click on that, and it'll go to that 2-page spread. And this is what rules do children obey. And we can also, when we zoom in, we can also use the marker tool on here as well. So if we wanted to, point their attention to the student that's raising her hand, we can do that as well. Okay? And then the last thing you can do under Page Finder, you can look through the 2-page spread here at the top, and you can click on that. And here we have what neighborhoods look like. And these are, atlases that have pictures and text, informational text here, so that children can have a deeper comprehension of what they're learning and building that background knowledge that they need. Okay? So that's atlases. Now I do want to show you too something that we have new, and it's very, very exciting, is now we have our Spanish atlases. And here you'll see, and we'll go to that 2-page spread again. We have it in Spanish. So this is something new that we just rolled out. We're very, very, very excited about. I know there are many customers that were wanting this. So we do have atlases available for all of our atlases. Okay. So I'm going to go to Block Buddy Atlas. And I'm sorry, for some of the atlases so far. So I'm going to go to the Block Buddy Atlas, and I'm going to show you where the tips and the lessons are. So here, if you notice, the arrow is pointing towards the tip. So this is where it's an overview, using the library and giving you ways to move through the atlas and marking on the atlas. If I go to lessons, if you are a state that recognizes the Common Core, then there are 15 lessons here that are built to the Common Core. So if you notice this drop-down box, there are teachers. It's teacher here, and anything that we have under here would be teachers, for teachers, and you will be able to see the answers to it. Okay? So I'm going to open up one really quickly so that I can see, so you can see how do neighborhoods change. So this is one of the lessons that we have there. And I'll show you again. There it is, full screen. Okay. And then also, so after the 15 Common Core lessons, if you are a Common Core state, there are lessons for every 2-page spread of the atlas after that. So there are lessons for that, okay? If you go to the student view, that means these lessons don't have the answer keys on them when you open them up. Okay, so that's atlases. So let's jump over to charts.
Before you leave, do you want to show a Spanish app?
Oh, I did. I showed.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for that reminder as well. Okay, so and you know what? Let's just, I guess, while we're there, we can show the lessons for the Spanish lesson. I showed the Spanish atlas. I showed the Spanish Black Buddy atlas, but I can show the lessons too that are in Spanish. So if we open that up, we'll see that Spanish lesson here. Okay, and it'll be in Spanish, the part that you need to communicate to students in Spanish. All right, so in charts, we have economics and government and civic series. So in economics, we have scarcity and choice, types of business, U.S. government, comparing the economy, supply and demand, measuring the economy, baking and investing. So, you know, like on this map, it shows that the unemployment rate was about 25% in 1930. And I believe in 2010, it was about 9.5% or 10.5%. And you can have a discussion on how a student's community would be different if the unemployment rate was 25%. What other industries did it affect? So you can have those types of conversations. So that's economics. And then also, government and civic series here, so the branches of our government. And if you do have an interactive whiteboard or you're using a projector, you can have them write it in here. You also have the toolbar where they can write in their different answers if they're using a device themselves. Okay, so that is the outline, and then the charts, and then the outline map. Those are exactly, again, what they are, the outline map series. So that's where you would add all of your different ones. You can open the library here and add more if you'd like, but all I added were some from the United States. And then over here at the top right, if you click on Make PDF, if you mark on it or you want to make a PDF of it clean without having any markings on, that's where you would make a PDF and you can print it out. So I want to pause at this point and ask, are there any questions that we have?
No questions right now.
Okay, great. So there are just a couple other things that, before we get done, there's a couple other things that I want to show you. One of those are, which are the thematic maps. So under some of the maps, you'll see that there's thematic maps, and there'll be different thematic maps under different series. So for the political relief, I see there's climate, land use, population. Under the sculptural relief, growing season, population, and precipitation. So if I click on political relief and I click on climate, I actually can see what the climate is on here. So all of these have legends as well. So if I click on this legend, I can see what color desert is. semi-desert, the steppes. Okay, so all of, even our thematic maps have legends. So here, I did click on the double circular button that was there, and I'll show you again what I did. But I want to duplicate the map here, and it takes just a little bit, only because depending on a little bit of it is my speed, and it's also duplicating the map that it's showing. So you'll see that it's being duplicated here. Upon a lot of our state standards, and even if you're a Common Core state, it requires us to teach cause and effect, and I'm sorry, I'm going a little bit blank right here. Compare and contrast. Sorry about that. So cause and effect and compare and contrast. So right now I have two maps that are linked together and that do the same thing once I turn it. Okay. To be able to stop linking them together, right here in the middle there's a green link button, and I click on that, and now I can view to one and the other won't move. Whatever box has the orange line around it is the box that's active. So if this side is active if I have it, and this side is active. So here, let's go to the thematic on here, and let's go to population here. So I'm going to put a population map on here. So I'm going to link them again together because I want to go to Africa. And I'm going to zoom in and have them both zoom in together. And now I want to talk to the students about this area. So I'm going to look at what this area is. Desert is a dry and climate area. And over here, we're going to look at what this color is. And it's under 5 people per square mile. So we're going to talk about how climate affects population. So we know that in this dry climate area, there's not many people that would live there. And then you can start asking the questions why. You know, there's no water resources or other things. So we can start with higher order thinking skills on this. So that's how I like to use compare and contrast. Also, what I'd like to do is I'd like to show where something is relevant in the world. So I'm going to close that out. So let's say I was over in Australia, and I'm going to unlink these now because I don't want the other one to move. So let's say I'm over in Australia. And here I can actually go to my gallery and I can open a view up if I have a view. And I do have a view of Ayers Rock, which is in Australia. And if I'm a science teacher, or if I do any science, and I'm talking about wind erosion, I can actually go there, and maybe I have added video of people walking on Ayers Rock from there. So that's other thing that I like to use it for, to show where we are in the world. So sometimes we're showing a student something, and they are not really understanding where they're at in the world. So I like to use that. Okay, so whatever side I close out of, click on, that's going to close out of. And again, I was going to show you where that was. Over in the map chooser bar, the dual map viewer is the double dots right here. Okay, and the last thing that I want to show is on our home page. I want to show the community here. So on the community, if you want to share something here, or if you want to find out what other teachers or administrators are posting, what teachers are posting and other curriculum specialists are posting, you can view it here. Or if you just need some ideas of how to jumpstart a subject, or if you're going through something and you want to see what other people have created and maybe you can add to it, this is where you would want to look. So you can put in the search function. You can put in whatever you like. I just put in presidents. Let's say we're talking about the presidents here. And I'm going to click on one of these custom views. And I want to see in that custom view what they have. So it's going to show me a preview of their custom view. And then if I like it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, up here where I have it circled, I'm just going to copy it to my gallery. So again, it's duplicating the custom view, so it will show you a preview of that. And if you like it, you can copy it to your gallery. And the good thing about that is that, again, you can edit it if you like, or you can take things out. So you don't have to keep it the way it is. You can make it your own once it has. So that is the community. And to add something to the community, what you would want to do is under that action where you share, and here's the preview. So it'll show you a preview of that map before you to see if you like it. So under the description, it says all 44 presidents are plotted on the United States map. All pins are plotted at the birthplace of each president, and included are short biographies and pictures and interesting facts. So that may seem like something that I want to copy to my gallery. So I'll just click copy here. And then if it's on a different map than what you have, that's fine. It'll just go to whatever series you have. You can change the title and the description if you want, and you just click copy. And it's been copied to your gallery. Okay? So if I go to my gallery, I see it right there at the top. This is the view that we just opened. Okay? So that's what another thing that you can do if you'd like to, get some ideas jump-started, or if you like to share something. If you like to share something, you just go to Action, Share View, you go to Other, and you can share it, and that'll go to your community. So it says click Share to make this content accessible to the public, and it'll be accessible to anyone in the StrataLogica community. Okay, any questions?
That bar is still empty.
Okay, so Carol, is there anything else that we need to cover?
No, I think you've done a fine job.
Okay, thank you. Well, I did also want to let everyone know that there'll be some changes that are coming at the end of September to StrataLogica. So I encourage you to view the recent webinar entitled The New Features and Functions of StrataLogica. And again, it's The New Features and Functions of StrataLogica by our Chief Education Officer, Dr. Erin Willis, which is about a 15.5-minute video on what's to come with StrataLogica 4.0, some of which will be changes of what you saw today. So I really encourage you go look at that. And you can view that recording here at www.nystromeducation.com/learning. And this website is also where you can find the recorded version of this webinar in about 24 hours, so that will be on there. Also, if you'd like to view any of the past presentations that we've done on StrataLogica, you can also view them here at the /learning page. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Getting Started with StrataLogica webinar. And you have a wonderful afternoon or evening. And I will be here just for a couple more minutes just in case anyone has any further questions, okay?